Good morning, Philadelphia Eagles fans. Good morning, NFL fans, to Week 6 of the 2016 NFL season, where our Eagles take on Washington in Washington after a tough loss against Detroit. Now first, I know I gave a shout out last week, but I like to put things in perspective. There are people in Haiti and the southern part of the United States that went through Hurricane Matthew. But you know, Coach Paul and some other people in North Carolina, South Carolina that I know, Florida, prayers go out to you and your families, and hope that everything's okay after the storm. That being said, on to football. Last week, our Eagles played against Detroit. This is where I warned us to not be overconfident, not take anything for granted, not just look at what's on paper, but we have to deal with what's in reality when we play the game. I gave you the stats. I know Detroit just lost to Chicago, and we just beat the mess out of Pittsburgh. And historically, we've been actually really well off of the bye week. But you have to play the game. And what happened was, in the first half, Detroit came out with a great game plan. They kept our offense off the field with sustaining long drives, and they converted in the red zone. They went 3 for 3 and quickly found themselves up 21-10. Did look a little bleak initially, but the question I had during the game was, how were we going to respond to something like that? Getting punched in the gut. Were we just going to fold it in now that we weren't looking all perfect, or were we going to fight back? And I was happy to see that our Eagles fought back, and at some point was leading 23-21. But we know how things played out. At the end of the game, Ryan Matthews fumbled, gave the ball back to Detroit. Good field position. They kicked a field goal. And the game ending, of course, with Carson Wentz throwing his first interception of the year, going for it big to Nelson Aguilar, and ended in interception. I'll talk a little bit more about the mentality about dealing with a loss in a second. But we can't hold on to that too long. That's what I love about the NFL. It's week after week. Yeah, you lost. You got to have a short-term memory and move forward. Learn from it, move forward. You have to do the same thing in life. So now we have Washington, because our schedule's not getting any easier. Washington's a divisional game. Let's start with that. I actually sat in the stands last year when Washington won the NFC East on our home turf. I remember what that felt like as we watched a team pack it in, especially on that 4th and 7 I like to talk about, where it showed where people's hearts were. Washington so far this year has played almost everybody very close. The only game that they got blown out was week 1 when played against Pittsburgh, but they've played close games against Dallas. They've played close games against the Giants. Kind of close against Cleveland. And they played a close game last week against Baltimore. So do I expect this to be a walk in the park? No, not at all. I expect it to be a close game because it's a divisional game. Divisional games are completely different because you're dealing with a team that knows you very well. You play you twice a year. And a lot of times you share players like Deshaun Jackson. You got Kirk Cousins. Is he good? Is he not good? I don't care what somebody says. If he decides to play good against us, he's going to be good against us. He has the ability to be very efficient. And he does have weapons that we see all the time. We see Pierre Garçon all the time. He burns us all the time. We see Reed all the time. And like I just mentioned, Deshaun Jackson. It seems like he has it out for us, and rightly so. Dealing with an organization that cut you, saying that you're a problem child, and guess what? He's still playing in the league, and he hasn't been locked up. So that was a mistake on our part. And he's always good for at least a good bomb, if not a good bomb touchdown against us every time he plays us. On the defensive side of the ball, that's actually what kept Baltimore in check last week. My concern is Kerrigan, because as I'm going to talk about, what we have to deal with now is mending our defense a little bit and making sure other people don't have the same game plan against us like Detroit just did. Were they able to sustain drives? Yeah. Did they have all this ridiculous rushing? No, they didn't. But they were able to pass some out of the backfield and get their passing touchdowns against our defense to get us to change our game plan, change what we do, and then they went to Jones, like I said they were going to do. On our squad, we have to get back to what we do, which is get their offense off the field. We got to play some tough defense. We can't let up 3 touchdown passes in the first half like we did last week, which means we might have to take away some things, blitz a little more, take a little bit more chances to make sure that the other team doesn't get that momentum and sustain 75-yard, 80-yard drives, as happened before. And on offense now we're going to get affected a little bit more. We're going to get affected by the suspension of Lane Johnson. That came out this week where Lane Johnson is now going to be suspended for 10 games because of the performance-enhancing drug ruling. So now we look to change up our offensive line. Now, how the Eagles are going to do it, I think that's going to come out today on Wednesday. We have the choice of either taking our left guard and sliding it to our right tackle, which is Barber, and then sliding it in a free agent, Wisniewski, into left guard, or keeping the offensive line the exact same way and inserting a rookie at right tackle. I believe his name is his name will be right here. And when you do insert that rookie tackle, you have to account for certain things. You know, how new he is, fine. But do we take like Brent Selleck or so, or Zach Ertz, and have them chip off? Do you use Darren Sproles or Ryan Matthews? Chip them off. Yeah, the loss hurts. You know, as an Eagle fan, the loss hurts for many reasons, and I get it. Hey, you never like to lose. Never like to lose. There are questions to be had. I mean, Ryan Matthews has had some fumbling issues, so yeah, you kind of wonder, why wouldn't you use the Darren Sproles in that sense, or why wouldn't you carry the ball on the other hand? I get that. And then when we did get one last shot, I still kind of do question why it seems like we're not using Doyle Green Beckham for jump balls more than we are Nelson Aguilar, because Green Beckham is about, what, 6'5", 240? Nelson Aguilar is 6 foot, 190. Big difference, right? But my mentality now with this Eagles team is not to keep second guessing what Doug Peterson is doing, because obviously I trusted him when we were 3-0. I'm gonna trust him now. It's done nothing but help build confidence in me as an Eagles fan that he really wants to win and wants to do it the right way. And same thing with Carson Wentz. As I talked about, that 4th and 7 that we dealt with last year, it frustrated me a lot. A lot. It was 4th and 7, our season was on the line. And I had to question the heart of Sam Bradford and Chip Kelly through how they called the play and how they played on the field. I don't question that about Carson Wentz and these Philadelphia Eagles. So now it's about just doing the best that you can with the tools that you have, because you have that fighting spirit in your heart. And that goes alongside with us as fans. And I'm going to end it on this. We were 3-0. We beat up on Cleveland. We beat up on the Bears. We beat up on the Steelers. And all was well. And we were all in. And the Wentz wagon was rolling. But now we lost. You got people talking and people saying, oh, what this or what. I told you before in last season and other seasons, and I'll tell you again, I like adversity. You know why? Because you figure out who's really with you. You figure out who was only there when we were undefeated. Those people will come and go. This ain't about those people. These are about those people that I gave a shout out to before, because we're true Eagles fans that are with our birds and our city no matter what, win or lose. So this week we play Washington. Doug Peterson starts out his NFC East campaign trying to bring us home the NFC East crown. It starts by hopefully beating the Washington Redskins. Let's not sit around worrying about what we can't control, what happened last week in Detroit. Let's regroup, let's refocus, let's go down to DC and come away with the win. Go Birds! E-A-T-L, East Eagles! Beat the Skins!